Hi guys, my name is Chris and you're watching Wrestling Today, so let's start with 5 things WWE wants to erase from history. Number 1, Mickie James remains one of the most respected female legends in the wrestling business. Impact Wrestling currently benefits from having Mickie in a great role, playing into her legend status. WWE was the place where James broke out as a major star after her epic rivalry with Trish Stratus helped create a new star. That made it even stranger when the company decided to place Mickie in one of the most embarrassing storylines of all time. James feuding with top female heel Michelle McCool for the Women's Championship could have been great, but it turned into a train wreck. WWE's Mickie James angle burying Mickie. WWE decided to book Mickie James and Michelle McCool against each other when both were among the most over female stars in the company. Michelle was the women's champion and formed her heel tag team of LayCool with Layla. The duo became the top heels in the women's division. Things escalated when Michelle started referring to Mickie as Piggy James and weight shamed her. James crying after the insult. There were a lot of negative reactions to the Piggy James storyline since most fans and wrestlers respected Mickie James. WWE tried to have an ideal payoff at the Royal Rumble 2010 event. The big match between the two. However, an ideal payoff of Mickie squashing Michelle in 20 seconds couldn't make up for the cruel segments. Mickie believes that WWE booked the angle to humble her on a personal level and said the following during an interview. Mickie said, "I think somebody thought I was fat and they thought it was funny. They thought I gained a few pounds. They had no idea what was going on with me personally. They thought they had an idea of something else that was that, whatever it was, and it was let's humble her. Let's kind of devalue her a little bit and then let's cut her loose because she thinks too highly of herself," or whatever the case may be. Number 2, the Bobby Lashley Lana Rusev storyline. The storyline between Bobby Lashley, Rusev, Lana dominated Monday Night Raw for months. It became a huge talking point for the WWE universe, with some fans hating it and others loving it. With divorces, pregnancies, sex talk, plenty of kissing, a wedding, and just about everything in between, the storyline has been a wild one. It truly has felt like something out of the Attitude Era, which is why it has been so gripping. To tell this storyline in detail, you have to start right at the beginning. Rusev and Lana had been gone from WWE television for months, and speculation was starting to appear that the duo might actually be leaving the company. However, during one episode of Monday Night Raw, Rusev made his triumphant return to defeat Mike Kanellis in a squash match. He came back in unbelievable shape, looking fantastic, but interestingly enough, alone. Rusev had managed to get himself a Universal Championship match in the main event of Monday Night Raw, competing against Seth Rollins. However, partway through the title match, Bobby Lashley's music randomly hit. Lashley brought out Rusev's wife, Lana. The two of them then stood at the top of the ramp passionately kissing as the WWE Universe was left puzzled over what was happening. As if this storyline couldn't get any more insane, Lana then revealed to the world that she was pregnant. WWE wasted no time in making it happen as Lana came out to the ring, announcing her feelings and about the entire situation. When Rusev appeared, she made the claim that she was pregnant with his child. However, this was all just one big ploy to get Rusev in a vulnerable position. In the end, Bobby Lashley appeared and attacked Rusev, with Lana revealing the pregnancy was fake. Despite Lana desperately wanting Rusev to sign the contract to get the divorce, he would only agree to sign the papers if Bobby Lashley agreed to a match. After putting Lashley through the table during the divorce contract situation, Rusev got his wish to finally get his hands on Bobby Lashley, one-on-one. The two of them competed at the TLC in a tables match. But in the end, with a little help from Lana, it was Bobby Lashley who managed to secure the victory in this match. Therefore, when the AEW star appeared for an interview with Chris Van Vliet, he took shots at the company for not having proper plans about the love triangle situation. Rusev said no plan. One-time pop. No plan. A lot of things were made for one-time pops. That was it. People thought, and they made up all these things. No, it was a one-time thing that was great and was going to get people talking because at that time the showrunner was about people get talking and controversy. That's why the whole thing happened. You know, the Bobby thing, it was all about controversy and we achieved that. Unfortunately, now there's no follow-through, but that's what happens when you change people all the time. Number 3, Lacey Evans and Ric Flair's feud with Charlotte Flair. Lacey Evans' WWE career have come to an end, and whilst she had some ups and downs, there will be one moment and storyline which she will likely be remembered for more than most, and that is her alliance with Ric Flair amidst a feud with Charlotte Flair back in 2021. In terms of modern-day storylines, this was a truly weird, surreal, and bizarre story which felt like it was right out of the often unhinged times of the ruthless aggression or attitude eras, rather than at a time when WWE was mostly more centered around a family-friendly product. The January 4th episode of Monday Night Raw in 2021 was Legends Night, and it saw several notable names from WWE's past appear on the show, including 16-time World Champion and Hall of Famer Ric Flair. And this is where the storyline began in a bizarre way. Evans would try to seduce Ric Flair. She would dance suggestively in the face of the 70-plus-year-old man who is well known for his tendency to go after women. Evans even planted a kiss on the Nature Boy as she went to the back, igniting a storyline which Ric himself admitted in an interview on the MMA show with Ariel Helwani that he wasn't comfortable with. Evans and Ric left together to go and get changed in the hotel room, allowing all types of connotations to be made by those watching. It was clear that this was all mind games on the part of Evans, but it was still uncomfortable to watch, especially since Ric has controversially been involved with his daughter's opponents before, such as when he forcibly kissed Becky Lynch during a title match. It became evident that WWE was building this to be the main women's program on Raw for WrestleMania, as Evans targeted the Raw Women's title, even earning a shot at the gold. Just prior to Evans challenging for the Raw Women's title on PPV, she emerged on Raw with Ric by her side and announced that she was pregnant. Evans was in fact genuinely pregnant, with WWE deciding to write this into the story to explain her absence. When she revealed this, Ric celebrating this announcement as though it was he who was the father. This was a terrible moment. Thankfully there were no hands involved this time around. Evans was taken off screen and the storyline was brought to a close, never mentioned again. In the lead-up to WrestleMania, the planned match between Charlotte and Evans changed to Asuka vs Rhea Ripley, with Charlotte being taken off TV too. Number 4. In the summer of 2005, WWE SmackDown was dominated by the Eddie Guerrero-Rey Mysterio-Dominic saga. For the storyline, the villainous Eddie revealed to the masses a shocking secret: he was actually the biological father of Mysterio's son, Dominic. The two then squared off for custody of the young boy in a ladder match at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. How embarrassing was it? Very. The custody battle came off like the world's worst and most ridiculous telenovela. You ended up feeling bad for all involved, particularly Rey's son. Imagine the grief the poor kid must have gotten at school. Logic loopholes. Why would Child Services ever agree to a scenario in which custody of a minor was decided in a ladder match on a wrestling pay-per-view? Why didn't Rey and his wife just get a decent lawyer and put an end to Eddie's nonsense? Hey, they had a good legal case. They had adopted Dominic and raised him in a loving and stable home for his entire life. Eddie had no real claim and he was totally power-mad and crazy. No judge in the world would have sided with him. Is it still talked about? It gets brought up now and again. But it isn't really as notorious as you would think. Did it have any redeeming features? Well, Eddie's heel work was very good. And the SummerSlam bout was very exciting, despite its dreadful accompanying storyline. This alone stops it from garnering a high spot on this list. Number 5. Aligning with Vince McMahon. The entire relationship storyline between Trish and Vince McMahon ended with her huge face push, but she had her fair share of bad moments. Trish was a heel when being the one to chase the romance with McMahon to gain power by dating the boss. Linda McMahon's involvement saw Trish willingly going to their home and even making out in front of Linda to further rub it in. Vince treating Trish poorly and publicly embarrassing her was what changed the story for Trish's face turn to gain redemption. WWE Hall of Famer Trish has recalled when Vince McMahon pitched the now infamous bark like a dog angle. During the build-up to WrestleMania X7, there was a controversial angle where Mr. McMahon humiliated his love interest at the time, Trish, by making her bark like a dog in her lingerie. Speaking at the For the Love of Wrestling convention, the 7-time WWE Women's Champion was asked about one of the most controversial moments in her time in the company. Trish said, "Vince pitched the angle to me like this, so we're going to have this angle where you are barking like a dog and get really humiliated, and basically hit rock bottom." And I was like, amazing. Because I knew a couple of weeks later, I would be getting my comeuppance on him and I would be slapping him on the grandest stage of them all, which is WrestleMania, and turning on him. I was going on to stand up for myself, not needing a man to lean on and fighting for what I needed to fight for. Trish went on to discuss how she felt the moment was needed and how it has stood the test of time. I get questioned about that a lot, and most people go, "Oh, remember you had to bark like a dog and you had to do the thing that was so degrading, right?" For the character, it was, yeah, because that was what the character had to go through. We don't talk to Halle Berry when she had to get abused by so-and-so, you know, it's a character. That, for me, was integral for the character to be at that rock bottom, to have the foresight to say, I can break free from this, I won't let this happen to me again and let's move on. And you know what? 22 years, we're still talking about it. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.